How's everybody doing?
Hello, hello.
What's up? Hi
Hello.
there. How we doing?
Josh, what's going on, man?
What's going on?
Doing all right. Just letting everybody come in right now. These guys, uh, these guys are on digital nomad time, so they tend to come in a little bit late. But
The digital nomad life,
well,
man.
yeah, dude. Vincent, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, bro.
Happy to hear. Claudia, Alexandra,
Hello,
H.
hello.
How's it going? Yeah. So we can. Let me get this recording up too. Sebastian, Philip, how are we? Amanda,
Odd. Oh,
what's going on?
oh, living the dream, waking up in a nightmare. How about you?
Oh my goodness. Somewhere in the middle. Somewhere between
That's good. Are you back in Florida?
yeah, I'm in Miami right now, actually.
Oh,
Crazy, crazy,
good.
crazy. Yeah,
Got the tree up.
Yeah, I'll be in Canada next week for like a month or two, then we're back to South America.
Wow, man.
Oh,
Uh,
goodness.
From Canada to South
Freeze your
America,
butt off.
the weather change
yeah,
is insane. It's gonna hit you pretty hard.
oh dude, literally, bro, it was yeah. I have a friend I was traveling with. I was staying with him in
Yeah.
Canada. And we were staying together as well in Colombia. But he just sent me a
Mhm.
picture, bro. He's like, "Yeah, look, and it's everything's covered in snow." And I'm like, "Dude, I haven't even seen snow before. It's gonna be crazy."
That's your first time seeing snow? Oh, this is gonna be a shock.
Yeah, dude.
Culture shock. That's great.
I'm Puerto Rican, bro, and then I've been in Florida most of my life, and it's
That's
like
rough.
everywhere. Yeah, so it's gonna be crazy.
That's crazy.
Christopher, Ryan, all right, everybody's in
Good
here.
size group,
So
man.
yeah,
Try to
yeah,
get
dude.
some warm clothes, dude. You're gonna freeze your butt off. In Canada, it is
You
way
know what?
colder than in the US. I'll
I'm
just
just
say
gonna
that.
meditate. I'm just gonna meditate. I'm gonna channel my internal my internal chi, and I'll just I'll work through it. Tank top,
You won't need
shorts.
any cold showers that morning. I'll tell you
Oh
that.
my, you know what? My friend, he called me this morning. He's like, "Yo, I just took a cold shower. It was so cold, I almost died. I loved it." And I was like, "What?" It's because it's so cold over there in Canada. But all right, everybody else who comes in, they can just watch the recording or catch up. But basically, Josh here is a beast. He's been in the space for a while. He's had a crazy journey. He's gone from literally setter to closer, manager, venture capitalist. Now he's investing in companies, and he wanted to come on and just give you guys a bit of game, do a little back and forth. Um, is there's anything you guys want to ask, just write it down because he's gonna do like a deep dive Q&A at the end. But
Yeah.
yeah, dude, let's just if you have anything you want to say too, like feel free to chime in. But let's just start with your story, bro, and
Sure.
kind
Let's
of
do that.
what some of these guys could really benefit from, in your opinion.
Yeah, no, let's do it. Let's do it. Awesome. Good to see you. I don't know if I've met any of you guys. Amanda, I've met you before. It's good to see you again. But
Oh,
yeah,
likewise.
good to meet you all. My name is Josh. I've known Jay Daniel for a few years now, just from Facebook, I guess. Actually, we just got connected in the high ticket space, huh? That's how we met, isn't it? We never
Yep.
actually met in person, have we?
Yeah.
Right.
No, no, not yet, bro. We're supposed to hoop, and
Yeah, we'll do
it's
it. We'll
coming,
do it, man. We'll do it.
coming.
Look, guys, it's great to be here with you guys today. Real simple. There's only really two things I hope you get out of this. The first one is I just want to share the journey. When I first got into this, I wasn't really taught what to do afterwards, right? Like I was just in this to get to that first 10K per month. How many of you guys here are in like remote sales at this point? How many people in remote sales? So almost everybody, right? Okay, so when I first got into this, my goal was just I want to get six figures, right? 10K a month. I didn't even think 20K a month was possible when I first started, and then I wanted to get there, and then I wanted to get to 30K a month, and then to 50, and so on, right? But no one really taught me what's the journey to go from that to an actual wealth creator, an actual wealth builder. So I hope by sharing my story with you guys today, I'm happy to dive into questions later. At least someone can give you an outline of this is what's possible, this is what you can look forward to, and not that you want to escape remote high ticket sales, but as you're living a remote life, there's a way to level up in that area. Does that make sense? So hope I can share that with you guys today. I hope that's the first thing you get from me. The second thing I hope you guys get is we can have question and answer here, but then we can talk about tactical. Okay, so that's the journey. but tactically, how do you guys go from whatever phase you're at to the next phase? And for me, having done it, there's no one way. But if I can provide some insight into what you can do today to get to that next phase and then to the next one and so on, I hope that's massive value for you guys. And of course, at the end, I can share about like what's next for me because you guys can probably get there too. So that's my goal today. Hope that makes sense. Jay, anything else? Is that a good start, you think?
Fire, dude. Let's go.
Cool. Awesome. Well, briefly, I'll just share my story, and then if you guys have questions again, we can dive into it. But basically, who here was around for the like sales mentor days? Anyone remember those guys? Anyone remember those guys? Right, obviously, we know about them now. So I first got into high ticket sales in 2018. So like the year before Sales Mentor really took off. I was selling for a company called, anyone here heard of Kangen Water? You guys heard of them? Yeah. So I got suckered into that, but I made a crap ton of money doing it. Right? It was fairly good. And at the time, I had gone through a Tai Lopez course in 2017 about launching a social media marketing agency.
Oh my gosh.
So it's crazy. I'm sure a lot of you guys have the same story. Obviously, I didn't do super well with Tai Lopez's course, but when I heard about Kangen Water, I quickly realized, oh, this is an MLM. Like these guys aren't scammers, but oh my God, these guys are kind of shady. But none of them are running Facebook ads to get leads for people that actually want Kangen Water. So I was a little bit different. Instead of selling to friends and family, I launched Facebook ads just about high ticket sales. Didn't know that I was really inefficient. Didn't know how it went. But I'd spend a bunch of money, get like 20 calls in a month. And because it was Kangen Water, I'd close like 15, 16 out of 20 because it's not like a high ticket sale, right? That's how I got into sales. And when I figured I could do that, I realized I could make money doing sales way more than marketing or anything else at the time. Come around 2019, I saw an ad from Peyton Welch, and it was if you want to, skip the marketing and just be good at sales, we've got this thing called Remote Closer. No, not Remote Closer, Sales Mentor. And so in 2019, I took their program, paid like $150 for a course, and I was one of the very lucky ones that actually got a job within the first 3 weeks and ended up closing for this guy. And that's how I got into high ticket sales. And so I'm sure a lot of you guys have a very similar journey, but I'm sure we're all past that. But that's where I started. And so where I'm at now, or I guess where I was at then, it was 2019. I ended up working for this guy, his name was Spencer, and he had a biz op offer. And to me at the time, this was like groundbreaking. I was like, oh my gosh, you can teach people how to run a business. This was kind of new at the time, right? And he was the only closer, the founder, and he was making like $75,000 a month, which to him was amazing. And he was like, look, I've heard that I could hire a remote closer. Won't you come on board and help me with the sales process? Of course, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, right? So we came on board, and in a year and a half, him and I, through trial and error, we ended up scaling to about 300,000 a month. And at that point, between him and I, there was more than we could handle. And that's when I went to Cole Gordon's program, and I was like, how do you scale with sales? And then I realized it's a whole industry. So I ended up being the sales manager. I hired a few setters, I hired a few closers, and we scaled this beat up offer to like 500K a month. And that was in like 2020. And so that's when I realized the power of sales. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, I'm making 20,000 a month. So that was my journey. I started off as a setter for the guy, ended up closing these deals super inefficiently. We'd close 1 out of 10 and we're like, we did it, man. Look at that. We closed a high ticket thing. And then now I'm realizing, oh my gosh, there's this whole remote sales world. And then by 2020 to 2022, I just focused on scaling that offer. So the point of that is, obviously, leveling up the skills is the phase one. Okay, I think there's 5 phases. And I'll explain this at the end, but I was in phase 1, leveling up my skills. It took me 3 years because I did it from scratch, but I realized that if I could get really, really good at sales, this was my path to wealth. Okay, and I'm sure like most of you, you were sold that as well, right? But no one's really telling you what to do after. And once you're at 10, 20K a month, what do we do? So this is where I'm entering this right now. So come 2022, I'm now a manager at this offer, and it was a biz op. So I decided I was going to do the biz op. Okay, it was called Surplus Funds. It was a great business model. It took a lot of freaking work. Like 6 months, I was losing money. And then month 7 on this biz op, I was still closing. I was still managing a sales team. And then month 7 of this biz op, we made like $120,000. And I was like, this is way better than sales, but it's way harder. So I realized that sales is quick, it's fast, but it's not as scalable. And running a biz op, it's longer, it's way more frustrating, it is way more difficult, but it pays out more in the end. And so that's when I realized phase 2 is, if I can learn how to leverage higher paying skills than just sales, and if I can have a timeline of 6 months and I'm patient for 6 months, I can now get a return on investment that's in the 7 figures. Versus sales is, in a single month, I can make, $10,000, $20,000 bucks. but in a single month with a business, I can make $100,000, $200,000. Okay, so that's what happened in 2022. And what happened was this guy, Spencer, not only from the BizOp, he started investing in other businesses. So I ended up partnering with him and learning what venture capital was like. And I was like, wait a minute, instead of having to build this BizOp, you can just put money in and get a return. Okay, so I set a goal for myself and I said, I'm going to have $100,000 set aside from sales. That's going to be my fund to invest. And so that leads to level 3. And again, I'll explain this guide to you guys later. I'm just going through it quickly. The level 3 is once you've got 100K in investable assets, you can do just about anything. Okay, so I was able to invest in 5 different startups and they all grew. And that's when I realized I want to be an investor instead of just a CEO or business operator. Okay, so come to now, from 2022 till today, 2024, I left sales. No, not true. I ended up moving from sales manager to consulting for multiple high ticket offers. That's a path for you guys. That's definitely doable. At a certain point, when you have a history of consistent 20K months and you can consistently manage a team, I think it's possible to become a consultant. And not like a fractional manager, that's a route, but I think that's tough. But an actual sales consultant, that got me 6 figures a year, and I was working, 5, 6 hours a week. And then on the side, I was investing that capital into businesses. Okay, so from 2022 till now, I've now built a portfolio and decided to buy one business at a time. And so that's the long story short, 2024 going to 2025, I own 12 businesses. I have 12 in my portfolio. I'm looking at like 10 more. And now my goal is to turn this into a firm where now I can actually manage people's money. Okay, so let's say you guys are all multimillionaires. You guys all make $50 million a year. I would take probably 10 million from each of you and say, look, if you guys give me $100 million, I will go invest in 100 businesses. You'll get a return on your investment. And so now I'm moving into the fund world. And so that's just my story. That's the brief of it. I would like to break it down for you guys on what I actually did and how you guys can get there. I'd love to open it up for questions as well. But essentially, I went from sales skills to management to ownership to now investor. And I think if you guys had a clear path to go to investor, that's how you can utilize Remote Paradise. Right, that's how you can actually use this remote lifestyle to get to the next level. So hope that all makes sense. Is there any initial questions? Jay, any questions there, man? I can dive into the more specifics of it, but I wanted to stop here before anyone had anything.
Dude, I just want to say, like, this is, everybody sees the space and they see the BizOp and they think making 6 figures is the end of the road. They don't realize it's the beginning of the road. You're not even living until you have the freedom, mobility, right? The access and the options, right? To be able to live where you want, spend your money how you want, not be struggling to pay your bills. So like, and bro, the fact that you've done the whole journey, because basically 2017, bro, like late December 2016, I got Tai Lopez's course, like, dude, yeah, literally, right? 2020,
8 years now, 8-year journey, right?
Bro, 2020, I got Peyton's freaking inbound closer accelerator, right? I devoured that thing. And so it just showed, and you started as a setter, bro. You didn't start as a freaking manager, as a CEO.
I was bad. I was just shooting, bro. I didn't even know how to properly do this. So yeah, 100%. It's definitely possible. Like if I can do it, this is special, right?
100%. Salvatore, your mic's coming on. Yeah, dude, literally, this is for anybody listening. I just want to like emphasize, like, you're one opportunity away from that next level, and a lot of the time it's just clarity, right? Maybe you're putting too much time into the first thing, right? Maybe, so yeah, I mean, floor is open to anybody here. What questions do you have?
Right.
What do you want to go over with Josh?
I can break it down into more steps if you guys want. That was kind of the quick version too, but I'm happy to answer questions because you guys can all do this. Like it's a path that no one really teaches.
100%. Ryan has his hand up.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, man?
So I was wondering, like, it seems like you had a lot of initial success. What did you have failures in investing too, or did you get lucky, bust? How does that? How do you choose?
Great question. Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. Yes, we'll dive into that. So once you've gotten this cash, let's say you've gotten to the point where you're like, okay, I've been a closer, setter, whatever it is, whatever you can get to. I think your goal is if you can get to $250,000 per year, or even close to that, you can do anything. Like there's nothing you can't do, right? Once you're there, I did fail. So I first wanted to invest flashy. I wanted to start a coaching business. I wanted to invest in all these flashy things. I wanted to be like these mentors out there. And I realized not the best first investment because those things are very, very difficult. I mean, if you haven't, as much training as you guys do to become good closers, right? You have to have that same level of training to become a good CEO. And that takes time. So I decided to invest in boring businesses, the most unsexy things you can think of. So my most successful company right now is a painting company, like painting homes and commercial businesses, right? Super, super boring. When I tell you guys closing high ticket sales, it's like, this is almost, so I'm closing like $350,000 to almost $1 million deals to paint a building. And that is so much easier to me than closing a 7K biz op. There's way less objections, right? It's just straightforward. So if you can pick a boring business, I hope that answers your question, Ryan. It's a great one. I think
sure.
they're really, really simple, that cash flow, and you can eventually sell. So I'm building a whole portfolio of those. I could sell to a private equity firm. I could keep it for the rest of my life. I could go buy 100 of these. And my goal is to buy something that everybody understands that I could replicate state by state. I'll explain that later, but my strategy is to buy boring businesses. I'm up in Seattle, and my goal is to actually take over the Seattle area like a military strategy. I'm going to basically invade the West Coast, right, and then move inland. And from there, you can have 100 businesses if you can rinse and repeat something boring. So hope that makes sense. The biggest mistakes I made were investing in complicated things.
Definitely. I used to be a house painter, so I definitely know, like, it's boring, but it is profitable if you know what you're doing.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, man. Yeah, definitely. Hope that answers you guys' questions too. And we had like Vince and Christopher, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Love your story. This is so inspiring. This is so cool. My question would be, why did you decide to go into investing instead of building your own thing? Like, yes, obviously this also is a business, right? But like, what I kind of thought my path is gonna be is like founding a super sexy business and like building the next whatever Apple, but like bit small,
Great question. Absolutely. So I have the next 5 years planned out. So that's a great question, Vincent. And I would say this leads to my biggest point is really map out 5-year time horizons, right? Often we're stuck in these 3-week time horizons where I got to close the next deal. If you can map out the next 5 years, this is how you invest. So I actually do want to do those sexy businesses. But Vincent, my goal is to have a firm where I have like 20 to 30 boring businesses, and that cash flow, these dollars are like my soul. I see dollars as soldiers, right? Dollars are just soldiers that I can use. When I have 50, 60 million dollars, I can start my own startup without having to get a bunch of other venture capitalists. So I do want to get that next Facebook. I do want to get the next Uber, but I got to be straight with you. It's a really vicious world out there. Like that level of business is straight up war. So I'm not even ready for that yet. What I'm doing is learning how to be a CEO by managing 10 boring businesses. That cash will be my army, and I can then start an exciting one. But I wouldn't start that first unless I know I'm a genius. Or if you know you've got the next Uber, well, we should talk because I can help with that, right? But if you get the next Uber, go for it. But if you're still trying to figure out what that is, I would learn how to be a CEO and operator first. Does that answer that question, Vince?
Yeah, it does. So I was thinking about like maybe getting to a mill and then using all of that to build like a great product and building something up. So that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good idea. The power of that too, Vince. I'll keep going there on your question there. You don't necessarily even have to have your own million. I would leverage something like Remote Paradise, right? This could be awesome because now you're surrounded by other wealthy people, and you may have this brilliant idea. If you have 250,000 quarter mil, you could raise the other investors from people that believe in you, and now together you can form your own little unit. And that's my goal, and that's why I love Remote Paradise, right? I think Jay's got a great idea here. So I hope that makes sense, Vince. I would definitely focus on so at least a quarter mil. You could do a lot with that. So.
Thanks.
Yeah, great question, man.
100%. So I know Ryan has his hand up. Chris, I saw your hand was up earlier. Did you get your question answered?
Yeah, it was actually answered. Thank you, man.
Yeah, good.
Beautiful. Ryan, go ahead.
I just forgot to lower it. That's all. My bad.
Okay.
Good. Well, diving into that, we'll see if anyone has any more questions. But basically, if I could outline the 5 phases, this may help. But essentially, my first goal is if I can get to, I think, again, $250,000, 250,000 a year, that's the new 6 figures, right? It used to be 100K is amazing. And now with just, I don't know how it is around the world, but where I'm at, it's 100K is not that much, right? You can live very well, can live just fine, but 250K allows me to become powerful, not just even thriving, but powerful. So my first goal, if I were you guys, get to 250K, whatever it takes, okay? I would focus, my main mistake in sales was trying to become this manager, trying to become in leadership, trying to be number 1 on the leaderboard. Versus what is the simplest, fastest way to get to 250K, right? It's so easy to get distracted and we get so caught up, it becomes corporate. Climbing up a ladder, it just may not be a corporate ladder, it's just the remote ladder. I would focus less on that and focus more on what exact pieces do I need in my life right now to get to 250K. My goal after that is phase 2, which is, can I invest in something that will now generate me that 250K without me taking a sales call? Okay, so I'm still tied to, like, I still work for my money if I'm in sales, right? Now you make much, much more than if you were working hourly, right? So you guys are way advanced than anybody else. But if I can get to the point where 250K a year is coming in by itself, now I'm truly free. So that's my next level. Okay, and that's why I invested in a boring business. And now I have, and then I invested in 2. Those 2 businesses together got me 250K, and I'm like, I don't have to close a single deal anymore because those businesses get me passive, almost passive income. And then the final goal is, if you can get 250K totally passive, right? That's dividends on your stocks, or that's in real estate, whatever that is, or just ownership of the business. Now you can now build that dream of yours because you have all the time in the world. So that's the phases I went in. Phase 1, though, there's 5 phases that I would focus on if I were you guys. Again, feel free to take notes. This is not a specific roadmap. There's many paths to the top, but this is the roadmap I took. The first one is skills. Okay, maximize the amount of skills that you have. And I'll tell you what, it's more than just tonality. It's more than just objection handling. Okay, if you can really get how to lead people to the right decisions, you will get to 250K. Right? And there's so many trainers out there. I don't know who you guys like the most. They all teach these tactics, which are all good, but the core of it is, like, for me now, when I close a deal, I don't even really care about discovery. It's great. Okay, I don't even really care about objection handling. At the end of the day, I don't even care what I'm pitching you. At the end of the day, if I can just help you make a decision, right? If I can help you not think about it, just make a decision, right? Or think about it properly. It doesn't matter what I'm selling you. If this is the right move for you, let's just do this the right way. If you can get that skill, 250K is, you're probably a year out from that, maybe a year and a half. Does that make sense? So that's the first skill I would learn. While I'm doing this, though, guys, the one thing I did differently than any other closer in the offer I was at, I paid close attention to how the marketing was working on that biz up I was selling. Okay, that's a key skill. A lot of closers, we can get so caught up in, marketing will take care of it, right? Or fulfillment will take care of it. I studied it. I studied it like it was my sport, right? I studied it like it was Kobe Bryant in front of me, and every single move I had to memorize, right? So I'm like, every single day, what did the marketing team do? Why am I getting better quality leads today? If you could understand that, you will separate yourself. Okay, and then the final skill to learn in phase 1 is, how does the CEO operate? I would get as disciplined as possible, right? Because like you said, I think it was Vince, right? You want to build a $1 billion company. When you're at war with people that are literally trying to take you down or put you in prison or sue you or just take out your idea, or the government wants to off you because it's such a good idea, you have to be very disciplined, right? Now we're dealing with low stakes. It's just a matter of money, right? So learn that discipline, learn the sales skills, learn the marketing skills. And that would be phase 1, skills development. If you can just go all in on that for a good solid year, you will be so much more aligned to go and be an investor. Does that all make sense so far? Any questions on that? Pretty good. Okay. Drop the questions in the chat if you guys want, or stop me if you want me to do anything different. But
Dude, no, you keep going. It's 100% agreed.
good. Awesome. Okay. Phase 2. And once you're making probably 100K a year, your goal is now double that, right? Go get 250K a year. While you're doing that, I would map my time out. So again, I guess I should go backwards. The biggest skill you need to learn is also, I guess, mapping out your time horizon. Like, you should know exactly where you want to be in 3 to 5 years from now, and everything you need to do to get there, and cut everything else out. Okay, so some of you may not want to be, millionaire investors, and that's okay. What do you need to do to get to where you're at? Right? So, but for me though, for a year, I'm already thinking 1 year in advance, right? I'm thinking 1 year in advance, which I'm probably a nightmare to get on a sales call with, because I'm either like, in the first 5 minutes, I'm like, look, I already know what this is. Here's 20K. I'm investing. Or I'm like, look, I am going to think about it. There's no objection how you can give to me today, because I'm making a move in 2026. So I'm thinking a year in advance. So don't worry, I'm going to get you your commission, but it's a year from now or a quarter from now, right? But that's how you guys need to start thinking. Start thinking in advance. So for you, once you're at 100K, start looking at different biz ops you would probably invest in. Look at different businesses you'd probably invest in. And if you don't know how to invest in a business or how to grow one, I would work for a biz op and look at, so for me, I signed up about 350 people in that first year for a specific biz op. But I stayed in touch with all 350 of the clients that I closed. And I wanted to learn, of those 350, why did they fail? And why did the ones succeed? Why did they succeed? Okay, if you can study that, you can now be the best biz op investor in the world. Like right now, I feel like I could confidently go invest in any biz op, and I think I could run that play, right? So that's what I would do for phase 2. Learn how to source deals, learn how to find investments, learn how to find different businesses you would try yourself. because you want to graduate from closer to business owner, right? So that would be phase 2. I hope that makes sense. Phase 1 is about skills. Phase 2, you should now be learning how to deal hunt and manage your money. And the biggest thing is, I would live below my means for another year and a half if I were you guys. I know it's tough, but for the remote paradise, I would go live somewhere where the cost is a lot lower than it is here in Seattle, right? I would network with other people like in remote paradise where people are actually doing it, right? And this way my cost of living is low, so I can save for my investment. And that would be year 2 or phase 2 for me. Make sense, everybody? Sound good so far? Good. I know it sounds like common sense, but it's good to actually drive this kind of roadmap home. Phase 3, this is where I would make my first investment. Okay, and I'd plan an entire 12 months for this. So if I had a 5-year plan, this would be year 3. Okay, so now I'm making $250K a year from sales. Now I've found the right biz op. Okay, now I'm actually going to make an investment. Now this could be a biz op you're selling for because you have all of the testimonials, you already know how it's going to work, or you would find an investment that you think is going to work very, very well. And I would find something active. Now you can do some passive investing. So if I had 250K, I'd probably set 100,000 of that aside for passive. So if I have a $250,000 in my bank account, probably 100,000 I'm putting into stocks and real estate. It's not going to make me rich. It's not going to make me poor. What it's going to do is give me a place to park my money so I can get it later with a good return. Okay. And then 150,000 I'm setting aside for living and I'm setting aside for investing. That's what I would do personally. Okay. You guys can do your own equation, but to me, that usually works the best. Okay. So once you have your biz op, this is phase 3. I would spend 12 months and do nothing else but be very simple. Just grow that freaking business. Okay, spend 10, 20 hours a week, but grow a business. Learn what it takes to go through like 2 months of a down season and how to emotionally get through that, right? Learn what it takes to turn the ship around. So what do I need to do to lead gen for this thing? What do I need to do to grow the revenue of this thing? If you can do that for 12 months, you are now so much more ready to be an investor and a CEO. Okay. Now, an alternative option, and I'm doing this right now, is I'm looking for closers who want to just put money with me and I'll make an investment and I'll go operate a company for them. And they just get a return. Right. So you could do that, but a lot of you feel, I feel like a lot of you guys are ambitious people that want to be hands-on. I would find a biz op and do it. Okay. Or invest in a small company, like a painting company. Okay. Hope that all makes sense. That would be phase 3. What I did was I found a boring business, right? And there's skills you got to learn for phase 3. You have to learn how to negotiate. It's a lot different than closing a deal. A lot different than closing a sale. If you can learn how to negotiate, it's just a straight up, what is it that you want from this truly? What do you want from this? What would be a win for you? And I'm just going to tell you honestly, if that would be a loss or a win for me. And when we get to the point where it's a win-win, great, I'll pay you 100,000 for your business. Or I'll pay 10,000 now, and I'll pay you from the business for the next 20 years. Seller financing. Okay, I'll talk about that later. Okay, that's how I got my first business. Okay, so I'll make a note to explain that later, okay? Everyone makes sense? That's phase 3. You guys are so close to phase 3. You get to phase 3, you are probably one of the top 1% richest people in America. Seriously, you can stop there if you wanted. Okay, so phase 1, get to $100,000 to $200,000 a year from sales. Learn the skills. Phase 2, learn how to find an investment. Find a business to buy or find a biz op. Phase 3, run that freaking play. Just run it for a year. Get really disciplined, get good at it no matter what. Like think of it like no matter what. I'm going to die if this doesn't work out. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this work out. And if I can do it remotely, even better. Right? Phase 4. This is currently where I'm at right now. Okay. You can choose to keep it, but where I'm at is I want to now multiply that play. Okay. I've got the sales skills. I've got the investing skills. So if I did good with one business, I'm going to have 5 now. And now I have 12. Okay. But that's really, once you get to that one business, it's so much faster to get to $1 million. Does that make sense, guys? So replicate it. And to do that, the skill you got to learn at phase 4 is leadership. It is so much more than being a sales manager. And most sales managers do it wrong, I think. There's a better way to lead. Learn how to build a team, learn how to motivate a team, and learn how to accept that if you build a team to manage your businesses, they're most likely only going to be 70% as good as you. And you got to be okay with that. So I account for that equation. So right now with my painting company, I have a car detailing company, I have a car auto body shop, I have a car painting company, right? I have a cleaning company. All those things, of course, if I'm running every day, I have a good feeling I can scale them all to 7 figures. I have to accept that good leadership means I'm going to place a winner, learn how to find winners you can place as managers, and then just know that they're probably only 70% as good as you, but accept that and help them become better. 2 people that are 70% as good as you is better than 1 person that is as good as you. Say that one more time. 2 people that are 70% as good as you is better than 1 person who's almost as good as you. Okay, so I'd rather have 2 A players than 1 alpha, I guess, who doesn't want to follow orders. Okay, does that make sense? All right, that's phase 4, expand your portfolio. I would look for businesses that you can grow that are similar to each other. So notice, I have a painting company. Guess what I'm getting next? A landscaping company, because anyone that I service will probably need landscaping. I now have a car detailing company because all those clients need those car detailed. I now have a cleaning company. Now I can clean their homes, detail their cars, clean their yard, paint their home for them. Now the lifetime value of a client to me has just 100x'd. So look for businesses like that where you can help one client in all areas, like their life. Right? My recurring revenue will pay more than any sales ever could. So I hope I'm getting complex here. That's phase 4. That's where I'm at now. And then finally, phase 5. This is where you guys can get to. I wish I knew this path. This is where you become a 7-figure earner, or not even earner. You just have 7 figures coming in. This is where I expand to other investments. So my goal is I'm now going to go, instead of 12 businesses, I want to have 100. Okay, and to do that, I need outside money. So I'm going to become a fund manager. Okay, like all those guys on Wall Street. Why Remote Paradise is cool is you could manage people's funds in Remote Paradise, or you could be in Remote Paradise and say, look, I've got an extra 100K. Who's got an investment? Let's pool our resources together. We're all living in Bali right now. We might as well just do an investment, right? We could go on real estate. We could go on a stock play. We could go on a business play. But now you want to have the big 3. You want to have your stock portfolio, your markets. You want to have your real estate. You want to have your businesses. You got those big 3. There's 4 other streams of income, but you don't even need those yet. You will now become a millionaire without having to do anything. And that's phase 5 for me, but I'm not stopping there. I want to run money. So that's my way to become a billionaire with a B, is if I manage money, and just so you guys understand this, I get 2% of any money I manage. So if you give me $1 billion, I'm making $20 million without lifting a finger. I get 2%. And then I get 20% of the profits. Okay, so that's my commission. So for $1 billion, for a fund like me, if you're in venture capital or private equity, usually your returns, I'm getting you like a 25 to 35% return. If I'm making you $350 million, guess what? I get 20% of that. I get 70 million and then 20 million. I'm getting $90 million just for existing. That's how I get to billionaire. You guys can definitely do that as well. So hope that all makes sense. I could break it down even further, but I'll open it up for questions or your show here, man. What do you feel? How's this going?
No, this is super good. And I just want to like clarify for everybody, right? Like there's a really good book by Peter Thiel. It's 0 to 1, right? Like 0 to 1 is the hardest part, right? Because getting to 6 figures, you're learning how to learn. You're learning how to manage yourself, how to be disciplined. All these different elements of business you then learn are just doing that same thing in a different area, right? So learning leadership, right? Learning management, recruitment, like the intricacies of like business and contracts. It's the same thing repeated. Yeah. So the more you can prioritize that first part and really nailing down like the business and your own internal processes for managing yourself, because we all have shit habits, right? Like it's part of human nature. The more you can learn to balance those, the more everything else is going to fall into place. Right. And Josh is a really good example of this. So now that's it, dude. Keep going, unless anybody has any questions at this point.
Yeah, no, that was deep there. Any questions on that stuff, guys? Does it make sense to you guys, like a clear path on how to get from where you're at to where you want to go? Sound like the line you use at the end of the pitch, right? Does the plan make sense to you? Like 10 out of 10? Well, tell me why.
What would make it a 10, right? So like, so a lot of the people here are in that like phase 1 where they're getting to the first like $250,000, right? The first 10K a month.
Yes.
So so is it an amount of money that you have in your bank account, like the whole like 3, 6, 12 months point? Is it just the offer feels easy, it's hands off? When do you feel like it's a good point for somebody to transition from like primarily focusing on skill and income versus, you know, starting to study the business, learn the nuances?
This is great.
Or do you think they should just do that from the beginning? Yeah.
That's a great question. I would start doing it from the beginning, but I would have main focuses. That's priority number 2. Priority number 1, establish how much you're an operating system. You are a business, right? What are your operating costs for a year? What are those fixed costs, right? So for me, if rent is $2,000 a month, if my car is $1,000 a month, I'm just throwing numbers out there, right? If expenses are another $1,000 a month. So if it costs me $5,000, let's say $5K a month to live, right? Let's just say that. If it costs me $5K a month to live, then I need at least 12 months of my expenses set aside in an emergency fund. I need $60K. And that's my first goal. And I'm going to work like hell to get that. Like whatever it takes, I'm going to dig myself out of the hole. Because whether you believe it or not, if you don't have a 12-month emergency fund, you're actually in a hole. If something were to happen to you, kind of screwed. right? So that would be priority number one. So I'm selling like crazy. And when I have that 60K lined up, I'm like, good, I have a year of my life where anything could happen to me, I'm fine. Now I focus on saving on top of that. Does that make sense? So that'd be my main focus. While you're doing that though, I would absolutely try and learn those skills, find those opportunities. But rather than finding an opportunity, I'm still mastering sales and leadership. Okay, so I would break my year into 4 quarters like you guys normally do. And Q1, 90 straight days, I'm just focusing on discipline. I'm saving as much money as I can. I'm getting up at the exact same time every day. I'm working out 4 or 5 times a week. I'm practicing sales. The minute I'm not off on a sales call, I'm listening to a call review, or I'm role playing, or I'm understanding my prospects and actually understanding them. I'm reading books about psychology, not just about objection handling. It's one thing to have lines. It's another thing to truly understand what drives a person's decisions. Okay, that's what I would do for 3 straight months. After 3 months, I'm like, I'm in peak shape. I've got money in the bank account. I am crushing it in sales right now, and I have my disciplines. That's Q1. Q2, I would now start learning other things. Okay, so let me understand the marketing aspect of these things, right? How are we getting leads? Because if I can understand marketing, I can understand how to make business anywhere. Okay, so understand marketing, understand leadership at that stage. How is my sales manager? Do I like the way he or she is leading me? Do I not? Right? How do I understand how the psychology of leadership works? Okay, so that's the next quarter. Then by Q3, okay, so that's 6 months now, I should be doing fairly well on my offer. In 6 months, I should have mastered how to sell this thing, right? So I'm doing fairly well. And now I would start devoting my time away from just development, and I'd ration some of my hours towards learning business. Okay, how to grow a business from the ground up. I'd recommend reading Ready, Fire, Aim. That's a great book. Okay, that's how, if I'm an entrepreneur, I'm reading that book every single day. Like I do that. 12 Months to a Million. That's another great book to read. Okay, 12 Months to 1 Million. Principles by Ray Dalio. Okay, he's a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund manager. Those are 3 great books for leadership. That's what I do in quarter 3. By Q4, I'm thinking about how much money do I need so I can start to invest in that biz op. Okay, so that would be 1 year for me. If I'm starting from scratch, that's what I'm doing. Year 2, I'm going to invest in that biz op. Okay, but the first 3 quarters of the year, I'm doing my final due diligence. I'm just making sure, do I have my emergency fund? And I'd still close deals, but if I'm taking 8 to 10 calls a day, I may dial it back in year 2. I'm going to take like 6 calls a day so that I can spend those extra 3 hours on my biz op or my investment. Okay, but I would spend a year and don't move on to I would not say don't, but I would recommend not moving on to phase 2 until I'm sure that I've really disciplined myself. Like, I mean, for a year straight, did I get up at the same time? Okay, I allow myself 1 mistake per week. Okay, so 1 time a week. But other than that, if I can get super disciplined, unless I'm there, I'm not ready. Right? I'm not ready. Does that make sense? Okay. I hope this is good. That answers that question. Jay, hope that makes sense.
Josh, just real quick. So you touched on like studying books on psychology, not just objection handling. What are 3 books that come to mind that you feel like everybody would benefit from in terms of learning psychology that would transfer on sales calls?
Yes, let me think of it. But the first book that comes to mind, what's that Chris Voss book? You guys, all of you might have read this.
Never Split the Difference.
Never Split the Difference. Study that. Study that. And then really study, like I watch a lot of like FBI and CIA tactics. How can they just know? Like, how do spies know, right? You can walk down the street and they'll just identify. Something's different here. And even basic stuff, like even how police officers, like I went to police academy training stuff just to learn how do you identify differences in behavior, right? Because when I'm on a sales call, it's very similar. So for them, they don't look for every detail. They just understand, here's what normal looks like, and I'm looking for the one thing that's off. Okay, that's psychology. It's stuff like that, if that makes sense. And so now on a sales call, I'm looking for that one thing. I'm not trying to find all your objections and pre-handle them and all these things. I'm looking for the one reason that gets you going. And until I find that, I'm not moving on. I'm not pitching you until I understand who you are. Because I'm not here to sell you. I'm a coach. I tell the people this on sales calls all the time. Like, there's a reason they didn't hire a sales rep. They hired me. I'm a coach, not a sales rep. I'm here to coach people to success. So I'm going to find that one reason why you got to get up in the morning. Once I find it, let's do it. Hope that answers that question. But Chris Voss is the best at this.
That's fire. Ryan has a question for you.
Yeah, so I was wondering at the end of phase 3 that you said like you could stop there because you're at the top 1%. So why not at that point? Say you want to work less. Say you want to put in like 5 hours a week, right? Like an hour a day, you're just checking in with people. Why not find those A players that you've been gathering along the way and just have them run your venture capital stuff into phase 4 and phase 5, and have them scale it, and you just step away.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's where I'm at now, but I'm still involved because I don't just want to watch. So I guess wealth and freedom is not my driver. Okay,
Right,
so
and that's
like
same.
more influence, impact, power, I would say, right? But in a more ethical sense, right? And I'll explain this later. The real reason that drives me, and I'll explain it in a second. But yes, that's a great question. That's where leadership comes into play. So phase 3 moving to phase 4. My whole job now is less about, can I be the guy that scores 30 a game? Can I be a good coach? Can I be a good GM?
Right.
Can I put together the Avengers? And that's a different skill. It's so hard
Right.
for me sometimes to not just get in the game and try and shoot and score. Right now, I gotta be like, look. I'm successful based on how successful I can get somebody else in my company. So yes, find A players. Remote Paradise is the place. I mean, this is why I like this so much. It's like you have A players all around you, man. All these people on this call, you guys are exceptional. How many people are actually trying to live a remote lifestyle? You guys are already top 10% of achievers, right? And you're moving forward now. You're on this call because you want to improve. So you're around the right people. Imagine if we were to grow together, which is why, Jay, shout out to you. I'm glad you built this thing, bro. So, but yes, hope that answers that question, right?
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah. If any of you guys, conversely, want to be an operator, let's chat, right? If any of you guys want to be an investor, let's chat. Just be real straight with you guys. And there's only so much I can talk about this on a Zoom and with a recorded line, but there are companies that run the world right now. Okay, it does not actually matter who is president of the United States. It does not actually matter who you vote. I mean, I'm not saying don't vote. All these things matter, but they control all those decisions, and they have a very specific business model. And it is a fund model where they have ownership and equity in every company that matters. I'm trying to take those guys down, or at least go toe to toe with them, because the top 1% has bullied the bottom 99% for the last 10,000 years, right? So I'm just saying, if we were to pull our resources, what they want from us, and this is not me preaching on a soapbox, you guys make your money, be happy, right? That's the main thing. And this is not me preaching, but what they want is all of us to go at each other and settle for millions of dollars and then keep fighting amongst ourselves. Right? They basically, and they've told me this in person. I'll tell my story later on if you guys want to hear it. I was in the music industry for many years. I got into business for a specific reason. I saw some shit that I did not like at all. I know there's number one industry in the world. I won't even say it on Zoom. If you guys know what I'm talking about, there is one industry in the world that's worth trillions, and all the politicians partake in it. And it's very illegal, and it has to do with young people. Okay, so that's what funds it. So for me, I'm like, if that business model works, it's bad people running it, why don't we do our own business model? Why can't we decide the rules for ourselves? Why can't we decide where we want to live and have families that are safe and have money for ourselves and be our own currency? At some point, we can leave the game, right? That's why Remote Paradise is important. That's why I love what I get to do. And that's why I'm not stopping at $10 million. I want to get to 10 billion, because then we have influence and impact, and we can create jobs, right? So, and you're on your way to that. So I hope that all makes sense. Not here to preach, just letting you know my mission.
100%.
Yeah.
By the way, I just want to say, like, this is literally like the whole point of Remote Paradise is like, what would be the perfect vehicle to make me like a millionaire, dope lifestyle, powerful, connected, right?
Yeah.
Like in the shortest possible time frame. And just as an example of somebody who's gone through that journey and is doing it at a very high level, and he's giving you guys the sauce. So literally, like, this is a video you can go back to and watch. Like, you could take the transcript, put it on ChatGPT, and just say, hey, create a game plan for me for the next 3 years, and literally just print that out, laminate it, put it on the wall.
Literally. Oh my gosh.
And you don't have to, because I'm going to take this recording, I'm going to upload it to ChatGPT. I'm going to have a worksheet and a PDF you guys can download and print. So all you got to do is print it. But literally, like, this is the game. This is the sauce. Like,
This is the game.
everybody's trying
simple
to take your money. Bro, this is the sauce. And it's
This is
literally,
it.
it's free. So
I'll tell you what, you get to that level, what JD's talking about, you get to that level, the game is actually rigged in your favor.
mhm.
It's designed to stop you from getting to that $1 million mark. When you're there, it is so easy to now get to 10 million. It's so easy to have houses anywhere you want. It's so easy to take care of your family and their children and their children's children, right? So the game gets easier. It rewards you as you get here. If you can just put your heads down for 3 years and do the work to get to that first level, the game actually opens up for you. It's now in your favor. So it's just a matter of fighting the headwind until you're in the stratosphere. And you guys are almost there. Master those sales skills. And remember why you're doing it. It can get, frustrating when it's like, oh my gosh, I almost had a close the other day, right? Or I have to get my metrics right. My close rate is down. Let's not get bogged down by those metrics. Those are tiny metrics. Remember why you're here. whatever it takes to get to that next level, right? So I hope that makes sense. Hope that's encouraging. You guys are close.
100%. Dude, with so Remote Paradise University, like the first thing I teach anybody, bro, look the first thing. And Vincent, like Christopher, right? You guys can attest to this. It's literally like, what's your vision? Create a document of it. Look at it every single day. It's not that you have to look at it or you're gonna fail, but there's gonna be a day where you need to and you don't, and it's gonna set you back months, right? It's
true.
like,
It's true, man.
stay consistent for a couple months, a couple years, bro.
That's
Everything
true,
changes.
brother. That's so smart. It's like gravity, right? Everything in business and sales is designed to pull you back to earth. So you're fighting gravity as you go. So looking at that every day is fuel for your jet burner so you can actually keep going upwards. And it gets way less
100%.
resistant when you hit space. There's no air resistance.
100%. And you can start to reprogram your beliefs because a lot of the time, the thing that's keeping you stuck is literally the beliefs that you have, right?
Mhm.
Like that's literally on sales calls. What do we do? These are your beliefs. They've kept you here. How much longer do you want to stay here, right? What are the beliefs? What's the identity you need to take on to get the results you want, right? Do that with yourself, bro. It'll change the game.
Literally.
What's up, Ryan? Your mic's muted.
I can ask whenever. I don't want to interrupt.
You're good.
Okay,
Go for it.
so early on, let's say you meet people, you're starting to meet people in that first quarter, in that second quarter, in that first year, whatever. What kind of qualities do you look for? And like, let's say, because we're all in different courses, we're all in different groups, we're all different things. How can I say, okay, I'm good at these things. I can go specialize over here and learn from these people and sum it up to you, and you can go learn these things from these people, and we can maximize our efforts together early on and go get where we're going stronger, faster. Does that make sense? How do I do?
Yeah, sort of. If you could reframe the question, because I think I understand it, but like, what is the end goal that you're looking for from the answer?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Same phases,
Mhm.
but like let's say I'm more of a better at managing, better at leading.
Got it. Understood.
But I have a friend that's like, man, he is good at networking and he just has all the connections, right? But I'm
Yes.
a little weaker on that. Not as, you know what I mean? Like, so
Absolutely.
how do I go, okay, hey, let's go ahead and work together now, and we're already in phase one together
Right.
and
Absolutely.
going. Okay.
But look, that's great. If I can make it simple, I look for 3 types of people. And I need all 3. Okay, I need a visionary, but that's usually me most of the time. Actually, you guys, as you become CEOs, are going to be all 3 of these things. Okay, but look for people like this. Visionary, someone who dreams big, who can constantly create solutions to problems or create new products or create new ways to get to the top of the mountain. You're definitely going to need that. Okay, because business isn't a straight line and there is no real roadmap to the top because it changes every single second, right? So visionary. Second thing I look for is a driver, a manager. So visionary is like Tony Stark, but you're going to need a Captain America. Okay, you're going to need Natasha Romanoff. You're going to need somebody that's just straight up like, what's the job to do? I'm going to get it done. I've got no ego, but whatever it takes, they thrive when things get tough. Driver, executor. Okay, and then the third thing is an analyst. You do need someone who's really good at strategy. A vision is good, but someone who can account for plan A, plan B, and plan C. Someone who can look at metrics and read them out loud. Okay, that happens to be my strength. Okay, I'm great at, if you guys have watched Peaky Blinders, it's Tommy Shelby, right? He's the analyst. He's someone who has all these strategies. Okay, does that make sense? So that's the 3 types
Definitely.
of people.
That's exactly what I was looking for. Yeah. So
Yeah.
building that Rolodex with those people now.
Yes,
Basically.
absolutely. And then the 4th person is just the person with the money. Look for people that have money because they may invest in you because they like you. I'm at the point now where like I like someone, I'm like, I don't know what it is you're gonna do, but hop on board. Here's $50,000. Let's do something together. Right? Someone may believe in you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
By the way,
Appreciate
Ryan,
that.
literally, dude,
What's up?
I'm literally meeting with an investor in 2 days. This is our 3rd meeting.
Let's go.
Getting ready to cut me a check, 6-figure check.
Come on, man.
Bro, he likes me. The plan isn't even that good. I'm like trying to get all the specifics out for him, bro. Like a lot of it is you get aligned with your vision, bro. And investors, and if you truly feel it in your bones, you're gonna be able to transfer that to other people. And that's the expansion of sales, bro. Sales is the transfer of certainty. If you're good at getting yourself to a state of certainty, if you're good at controlling your emotions, people are going to feel it, right? You ever get an objection where somebody's like, they say, oh, I need to do more due diligence. I need to see more case studies. I don't know if you specialize in my kind of market. I do this. It's really niche.
Yada, yada,
Bro,
yada.
they're just looking for certainty, bro. Like you can show
Right,
all kinds of shit, right?
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, it's the certainty that's going to get them over. What do? Totally
Right.
understand. I hear you. I want to help. Repitch in a slightly different way, maybe do a screen share. All of a
Yep.
sudden they close. Why is that? Certainty, bro. It's the entire game.
Right. Right.
Right.
Find those 3 people in your prospects. You will learn how to manage people if you can find them. Are they an analyst? Right? They have strategies. Are they a driver? They just need to be given the dog with the bone, right? Or are they more of a visionary? It's an identity close. If you find that in your prospects, 1, you'll be really, really good at sales, but 2, you'll be able to build
Okay.
teams very, very well. Visionaries are identity closes all the time. So I asked them, when you first envisioned, getting into real estate, what was it that you really thought this would be like, and why is it not enough for you now? Who is the version of you that's locked in a cage that my job is to help let out today? Right?
Wow.
Versus a driver being like, do you feel like you're a Lamborghini in a garage? Gotcha. So you're telling me if I were to get you the race car and I'm in the passenger seat with you, you would put your foot on the gas? Yes. So all you're missing is that. So you're telling me today, if you find the right car, you're gonna jump in? Yes. Okay. And then the analyst person from the beginning, I'm like, look, you could see 1,000 testimonials. But let me be honest with you. If I had no testimonial, but I told you I'm a millionaire, I'll show you how to do it, would you do it? Right. So you're selling different ways to different people. And then say, what exactly are you looking for that would be a yes for you? So if I show you these 5 things as an analyst, are you sure that's enough? Are you sure 7 testimonials is your equation? What if you need 8 testimonials? What if you need 9? You need 10, right? What's your equation? I hope that makes sense. It's not a sales training, but if you learn how to close people, you can build a team with them.
Are there people that are sort of a jack of all trades, balance of those things too?
Absolutely. You find that
I don't know exactly what I am, how I'm viewed from the outside, but that's how I feel. I've always felt like a jack of all trades, tried to build up multiple skills. That's kind of how my family is. So
yeah,
I don't know if that's a strength or a weakness,
Strength.
It also
Definitely
means,
a strength. Most of you guys will be jack of all trades because you're in remote high ticket sales. You're doing more than most people do. You're getting out of the corporate lifestyle, right? So most of you may be that way. But find those strengths, right? And find what you lean to most.
right on. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh, let me know what you think about this. But one thing I've realized over time too is like when it comes to like people hiring or bringing on talent, there's the conversation of like, where is somebody at right now? Because this is the piece that I need. But if that person were to spend 6 months or 12 months hyper focusing on one thing, all of a sudden they would be a specialist on one thing. So it's also moldable in terms of your own specific role, and what you want to do as well.
Totally.
Assuming you don't have any skills, because if you do have a specific skill, you can build around it and get other people too.
Right. Absolutely. I look for the raw elements. Do they think very critically and they're really, really sharp that way? They're probably an analyst. They just need some guidance. Are they just a doer? They're just raw. They're a doer though. Like they'll hop on 20 freaking sales calls. Okay, they're a driver, right? Or are they visionary? They're eloquent. They keep talking about the vision in the future. Awesome. They just don't know what it is yet. So investing in people, it's asymmetrical returns. It'll bump up soon, right? So people are the best investment you can make.
I got after the call, Josh, something I wanted to talk to you about actually. And I know
Good.
we're guys, but Konstantinos.
Yeah. Hey man,
What's going on?
so my question is, what are the things you would be studying, like within the business you are working as a closer or setter, so you can learn those skills to get to those next levels you mentioned?
Great. Yes, I would do this as a closer anyways, but I would almost memorize the syntax, the way that they speak on the VSL and the way that they speak on the ads. That psychologically is why someone said yes in the first place. Okay, so if you can think like a marketer, you actually sell better than a salesman, right? Because you can connect with people naturally. So study that. What language, and then at what point in that VSL are the points that are hitting people's targets? When's the dopamine actually exploding in my brain when people say certain things? I studied that religiously as a closer. That's why I was able to close. In my pitches, I do the same thing as VSL. So instead of just pitching, here's the 3 things I'm going to give you. I say, here's phase 1. And in phase 1, just like we did with Daniel, this is what happened with him over 6 months. Okay, so just like you mentioned earlier that you had this, and this problem. That's what phase 1 will do for you. Just like we did with Jay, just like we did with Konstantinos. Does that make sense? And they say yes. Okay. Phase 2. Okay, this is what I'm going to supply to you. Here's the solution in phase 2, just like I did with Vincent. Okay, and with Vincent, by the way, he reminds me of you. In 3 months, Vincent was able to achieve X, Y, Z. Does that make sense? Can you promise me that Vincent did this at that stage? When the money's coming in, can you promise me you'll do the same thing? Yes, okay. Now, phase 3. Okay, I worked with Amanda on phase 3, and we spent 6 weeks on this in her business. Can you see how what Amanda did is exactly what you were missing in your job? Yes, okay. Can you promise me you'll do the same thing that Amanda did? Yes, okay. So I'm speaking now in my pitch just like I would with marketing. A lot of closers don't do that, and there's a lot more resistance. So that's what I would study. I hope that answers your question. And I would also study the metrics. Okay, how do you know how many dollars you put into that marketing machine equals cost of acquisition? Okay, study those metrics because you can see the patterns of human behavior more than just the metrics of the money. Hope that answers that question. It's a little complex.
Yeah, like studying all the things that are outside of the business, all
Yes.
the operations.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and also using the languaging that got them in the course in the first place.
Yes, absolutely. Somebody clicked on an ad because something in the brain said, that's for me. Figure that part out. Someone clicked on book a call from the VSL. Figure out what line in that VSL got them to say yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, a final thing there. Not just figure out the line, figure out what line that the prospect had in their head that got them to say yes. Okay, and that's kind of complex. But if I'm watching a VSL and I'm thinking, is this really for me? Can I do this? They see a line on there that says, so book a call with me if you want to do this or this. And they say in their head, what did they say in their head when they booked a call? Maybe this can work for me because of XYZ. If you learn that, you'll close so many deals because you're just speaking their language. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that's
great question.
Thank you.
Yeah, phenomenal.
And for everybody in my community, like that's in here, this is the power of networking and getting into different circles. You get to hear the conversations behind the scenes.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of conversations happening right now with people that are running $25,000 masterminds that nobody's hearing, and it's literally free. It's just you have to be in that room.
Yes.
They're talking about stuff they won't even include in their most exclusive course because then they won't be competitive, right? This is the sauce.
It's the sauce, guys. I mean, the conversation at a certain level, now I'm dealing with marketing that has nothing to do with like VSL and get them to book a call. We're dealing with like Coca-Cola is going to put like an image of a dog on the screen, and that's going to get 20% more people to buy because lately people have looked at dogs and they view that as safe. It's like weird psychological things, but as humans, we all crave. If you can learn those aspects, you can increase your empathy levels by like 1,000%. Because I already know what you're looking for, right? And it's not about tonality anymore. It's about really understanding. How does McDonald's sell I'm loving it to you? Right? They're selling crap. People buy it still. Why? What is that? I hope that makes sense.
100%. Questions, thoughts. The floor is you guys's. We are coming close to the hour, so I also want to be respectful of Josh's time. So anybody who has questions, just raise your hand and go through them.
And said the chemicals they put in the food makes you addicted. That's true.
Mr. Chris.
Yes, sir. No questions, but I just want to say thank you. Like I did not expect this masterclass to be this. So much golden nuggets, gems, everything. So
Awesome.
I really appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Well, that's valuable, man. Great idea, Jay.
Oh, dude, it's just the beginning. This is
Man, we
Let's
could do
keep
this
going.
we could do this every month if y'all want. Like we could go into details. Like I'm available. I like this kind of stuff.
Yeah, please. Can we please do this every month, every day?
It's up to
Can we
Jay,
just
but I
have
didn't
every
speak for you,
single
man, but I'm
hour of
down.
your time?
I'm down. We can go into so many details, guys, about how to do this. At some point, ladies, I'd love to hear from you guys. I mean, you guys, there's so much we could go into about that as well. There's so much opportunity out there.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're unlimited nuances. We're bringing in a lot of guys from Remote Paradise University as well, because there's so many different topics to cover, right? Like, because we could literally spend months talking about sales and nuance and, right, like marketing. And then it's like, what about personal development, right? What about systems, right? Like accounting, right? Like how many people make a 20K a month and they don't even file taxes on it and they forget about it and then it bites them like 3 years later. Like,
oh, yeah.
there's a lot. So 100%. 100%. But yeah, guys, that is it for today's masterclass. Josh, dude, is there anything you want these guys to know? Anywhere they should go to like check you out, stay in touch?
Yeah, I mean, definitely stay in touch. I'll be around with Jay anytime here. Find me on Facebook. It's just my name, Josh Pineda. Find me on Instagram. Same thing. I think Amanda follows me too. So I'm friends with Jay, Daniel on there, so you guys can find me. I guess the only thing you guys need to know is if you ever have capital you want to invest passively, we can chat. That's what Jay and I will talk after this about how we can make this work through guys in a while. But we could all put money into things that will make us all money, right? And I happen to have hundreds of deals, right? If you want to be an operator, come find me. I'm more than happy to chat about that. If you want sales training, come find me. I'm happy to talk about that. But as long as you're in this group, this is about improvement and getting to that level. You're already doing the right steps. Be encouraged. You guys are here on a Saturday. That's encouraging. You guys are doing the things. So that's it for me, Jay.
100%. Beautiful. This recording is going to be inside the Remote Paradise School community. If you're not already in there, it's free to join. It's going to be in the masterclasses section. So just watch it. I'm going to have a transcript of the call, key takeaways, as well as a worksheet you can fill out. So you can basically implement everything. Also a PDF you can print out. Literally, this is all the game you need. This is the roadmap to 7 figures. So wish I had it when I was getting going, but now you guys have it. So looking forward to, like this helping out, for years to come, literally.
Go get it, you guys.
Cool.
You guys can go do it. You can do it. You really can.
100%.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
100%.
Thanks again, guys. Appreciate both of y'all.
Good to have you guys.
Go crush it. Go close some deals.
Can I ask
Sure.
one last question before we leave?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
What's up?
What's your opinion on making like the long term, like a sales coaching business instead of following that path to 7 figures or something, or
Yeah.
maybe combining those two?
A sales coaching business?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually started there. It's so funny. I had a sales training program. I was trying to go and start competing with like Hill Gordon and all those people, right? And B2B ended up being much more profitable. So I had like 75 students in I sold my course, my sales coaching, and I had like 75 students. It was scaling. But B2B, all these people wanted me to go manage their offers, and that ends up paying so much more. So you may find that B2B is way better than B2C. B2C is tough to scale. B2B is really, really simple to scale. But you're definitely welcome to do it. That being said, like there's always going to be another sales trainer. There's a bunch of those out right now. Every close that's ever made 30K a month is a sales trainer right now, it feels like. But if you can come up with something unique, then I definitely it's worth pursuing. But yeah, if you want to make a bunch of money, it's a dogfight. It's hard to get money selling training sales.
Yeah.
B2B
Okay.
is good though. So for to clarify that, B2B, I meant like a lot of companies would pay me. They're like, here's $100,000. Can we fly you out here and you train our sales team for like 2 weeks? I'm like, that's a lot easier than trying to sell a biz op. Okay, well, let me do that. Or can we pay you $50K to come speak to our team for like 3 hours on sales? Yeah, I'd rather do that. I'd rather do that than build a course. So hope that makes sense. There's a lot of opportunity for that more than just being the next Cole Gordon.
Yeah, maybe like a sales agency or something.
Yes. Now that is very profitable. That's how I got, I'll explain maybe next time. That's how I got on my businesses. So I taught them sales and I negotiated after a while. Instead of paying me 6 figures, just give me equity in the company. And they said, yes. I said, okay, what if I help you with marketing? Can I get more equity? Yes. If I help with staffing and hiring, can I get 30% of the company? I said, yes. So sales management and sales training leads to equity. It's a great path. So if you guys are all closers, it's way better than trying to compete with Jeremy Miner and, all those people.
100%.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Most companies are started by people that are no different than you or me. And once you start meeting these guys that are making a ton of money, you start to realize like, oh, wow, they just know something I don't know. They're not that special. And then you can just literally, hey, where's your sales process? Does your sales team even have scripts? How come they all sound different? Why is your close rate 6%? And it just opens doors.
There's so many of them out there. Last thing, Constantinos. There's so many of those companies that are not in the high ticket space that think we're like geniuses. They're just normal companies that have been run for 500 years and they sell a high ticket product. They're like selling boats or RVs or like freaking real estate. And they're like, I don't know. We just sell it the way my father and his grandfather taught him. And I'm like, what if you had a sales process? Do you have a discovery? Do you have a good pitch? Do you know how to talk people down? They're like, uh-huh. So you could find a lot of opportunity outside the high ticket space if you bring that skill out there. And there's a big blue ocean out there. Hope that makes sense.
There's a reason Cardone made $100 million a year selling sales training, bro.
Yep.
Like it's desperately needed. I
The
think what is it,
remote
8 million a year?
online space is actually a really small pond. It's a really small pond. There's a big ocean of people that need sales out there.
100%.
Good question.
On that note, though, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Me and Josh are gonna go over some stuff. Hope everybody enjoyed this masterclass. Again, it's gonna be posted inside of the school community.
Yeah.
Literally, the full masterclass, everything's gonna be broken down. It'll be up in like 30 minutes. Keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, good to have you on this masterclass today with Mr. Josh Pineda from Setter to VC.
Good stuff, guys. Go get them. I'll see you guys soon.
Sir, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Jay, you want to stay on this link or go somewhere else?
Let's go somewhere else so that the Fathom closes out. I'll just send
Yeah,
you.
that's what I was thinking.
We'll use the same link. I'm just gonna close it and come
Sounds
back
good.
in.
All right, I'll be back.